3 miles off Venezuela, the world's most expensive warship faces 2 fighter jets in a sudden high-low attack formation. Radar screens and nerves spike. One wrong call and a $13 billion mission could ignite the Caribbean. But what really happened in those heart-stopping moments? And why was America's flagship there in the first place? Aboard the E-2D Hawkeye circling high above the Caribbean, the radar operator tracks a pair of fast-moving returns just inside the outer edge of the carrier group's surveillance envelope. The first contact appears at over 100 miles, but it is the closing speed and trajectory that catch attention. Within seconds, the operator assigns a track ID and relays the data link to the Combat Information Center on the USS Gerald R. On the carrier's CIC display, the icons flicker, 2 aircraft vectoring directly toward the strike group, their approach speed pushing Mach 1. The call sign logged for the airborne sensor platform is Tiger I-1. Controllers in the CIC coordinate with the Hawkeye, confirming the track's altitude and bearing. With each sweep, the blips grow stronger, their flight path tightening toward a precise intercept geometry. The controller marks the time, 0619 Zulu. Every layer of the network, airborne radar, an Aegis-equipped destroyer, and the Ford's own sensors feeds into a single unified plot. Data link protocols ensure no delay, every operator seeing the same threat picture in real time. The Surface Watch logs the moment the inbound aircraft cross the 20-mile ring. There is no ambiguity. The approach is deliberate, the spacing between the 2 tracks consistent with a high-low attack formation. Within the CIC, voices sharpen, orders ripple outward, alert status escalates, air defense crews stand by, and the countdown to intercept begins. The track IDs update again. Hostile, unknown intent. The margin for error narrows with every mile. The sensor net holds, watching for any deviation, any sign the incoming jets might break or press even closer. Every second is measured, every decision point logged, as the Ford's layered defenses brace for the next move. Combat Air Patrol pilots streak toward the closing contacts, throttles wide open, scanning for the glint of metal against the morning haze. The Venezuelan Su-30 split altitude, one holding high at nearly 20,000 feet, the other dropping low, close to the sea's surface. This vertical separation stretches the response net, forcing the U.S. defenders to split their radar coverage and visual search. The high-low tactic is designed for confusion. The upper jet can dive or launch from above, while the low-flying wingman hugs the radar horizon, pressing the limits of detection. On the Ford's bridge, the radio operator keys up the international distress frequency, voice steady but clipped. Unidentified aircraft. This is United States warship operating in international waters. State your intentions. The call repeats in Spanish, then again in English. No reply. The challenge timer starts. Inside the Combat Information Center, operators count the seconds. Standard protocol allows less than a minute before escalation. At 3 miles, the Su-30s hold their formation. The FA-18s lock radars but stay just outside weapons range, waiting for the order that never comes. The carrier's defensive systems, CRAM, ESSM, CIWS, are set to semi-auto, ready to fire on command, but not yet unleashed. The tension is electric. Every operator knows a single miscue could trigger a chain reaction. After a long, silent pause, the Venezuelan jets bank sharply, climbing and turning back toward their coastline. The challenge goes unanswered. The compressed window for action closes as quickly as it opened. The Ford's air wing holds position, watching the contacts fade from radar. For the pilots and operators, the adrenaline lingers, along with the knowledge of just how close the confrontation came to disaster. Inside the Combat Information Center, the Tactical Action Officer stands at the heart of every decision. In this moment, no single operator holds the power to fire. Instead, a strict chain of command governs every potential use of force. The Tactical Action Officer reviews the threat picture against a printed card, the rules of engagement, updated for this deployment, and signed by the strike group commander. Any move toward lethal action demands confirmation up the chain, with each step logged in real time by the watch officer and the log keeper. Defensive systems such as CRAM, ESSM, and CIWS are set to semi-automatic. The software can track and recommend, but it cannot act without human consent. The logkeeper notes every status change. Radar locks, challenge calls, and the precise time defensive systems are armed or saved. If the situation escalates, the tactical action officer consults the ship's commanding officer, who may authorize a shift to full auto only when hostile intent is unambiguous. Each authorization, each denial, is entered into the log. This paperwork trail is more than bureaucracy. It is a safeguard, a record that every action taken or not taken is deliberate and accountable. No automated system can bypass these checks. Even in a crisis measured in seconds, the authority to release weapons remains tightly controlled, documented, and subject to review. Combat system technicians work under a doctrine that prioritizes human judgment over automation, even when seconds matter. On the USS Gerald R. the ship's self-defense system and point defense weapons like CIWS and CRAM are kept in semi-automatic or manual modes as a matter of policy. The system can track, classify, and recommend targets, but the final decision always rests with a crew member, usually the watchstander or the tactical action officer. This approach is not a technical limitation, but a deliberate choice rooted in both past incidents and current rules of engagement. Full automatic mode, which would allow the system to fire without human input, is reserved for situations where an imminent attack is unmistakable, such as a confirmed missile launch. During close encounters near foreign militaries, the risk of misidentification or accidental escalation is too great to trust a machine with the final call. Every status change, including arming, safing, and switching between modes, is recorded in the log, with technicians double-checking each step. This layered process ensures that restraint is built into the system itself and that every action is traceable and accountable, even under the pressure of a potential crisis. State television in Caracas interrupts regular programming to deliver a special bulletin. Studio anchors, flanked by images of Venezuelan Su-30s and warships, announce that the nation's armed forces are now on maximum alert. Defense Minister Vladimir Pedrino Lopez appears on screen, his tone measured but unyielding. He declares that Venezuela will repel any foreign incursion, emphasizing that the military stands ready to defend the nation's sovereignty against all threats, no matter how powerful. The broadcast loops dramatic footage of the Su-30s banking away from the carrier, underscoring the message that Venezuela's airmen and sailors have forced a foreign warship to respect national boundaries. Official statements frame the encounter as a clear victory for vigilance, weaving in references to past struggles against external pressure. State media anchors echo the Defense Ministry's language, warning that any attempt to violate Venezuelan territory will meet a unified, determined response. The coverage is direct and emotional, rallying viewers around the flag and casting the incident as proof of national resolve. The alert posture is repeated throughout the day, with scrolling headlines and interviews reinforcing the government's claim that the military stands as the shield of the republic. Every word is carefully chosen to transform a tense standoff at sea into a story of dignity, readiness, and patriotic unity. History is crowded with moments when a single encounter at sea or in the air nearly spiraled out of control. Military historians draw a direct line from today's standoffs to the lessons of past crises, where miscalculation and ambiguity brought the world to the edge. In 1962, U.S. Navy ships enforced a strict quarantine around Cuba. Soviet vessels and submarines pressed the line, while carrier-based aircraft patrolled the skies. One wrong move could have triggered nuclear war. The protocols developed in those tense days, layers of identification, challenge calls, and escalation ladders, remain the backbone of modern rules of engagement. But precedent offers only limited comfort. In 1988, the USS Vincennes, operating in the Persian Gulf, mistook an Iranian passenger plane for a hostile fighter. A split-second decision, influenced by radar confusion and mounting pressure, led to the downing of Iran Air Flight 655. All 290 civilians aboard were killed. The incident became a case study in how advanced technology and human judgment can clash under stress, with tragic results. More recently, in 2001, a U.S. Navy EP-3 surveillance plane collided with a Chinese fighter jet over the South China Sea. Routine intercepts turned deadly in an instant, sparking a major diplomatic crisis and weeks of negotiation before the American crew was released. Each episode underscores the razor-thin margin for error in these encounters and the potential for routine operations to ignite international emergencies. For commanders today, these historical flashpoints are not distant memories. They are cautionary tales, shaping every procedure and every decision as new crises unfold. Military lines in the Caribbean now blur at supersonic speed and billion-dollar stakes. As rival alliances grow bolder, each maneuver risks more than hardware. It tests global stability itself. In an era of instant escalation, the margin for error shrinks. The next close call could rewrite the map.